What is up, party people? It's your boy Voltron Supreme coming at you with another AMP video. So this video is a little different. This is more of a I hope it's a product that they provide us, either the AMP Foundation or Flexa Network, for people who use crypto spending apps that run on the Flexa Network, for example. So not too long ago, we heard the stories about these apps where people would leave a tip and then the driver didn't see any of it, or these companies were taking a cut of the tip that was meant for the driver. Well, the PR was so bad for a lot of these delivery agencies that they stopped doing that and started giving the money to the driver, right? And now a lot of these apps have evolved where you can also use them to pick up the food. So the criticism isn't with the people who made the app, the creators of the app, the owners of these apps, because, from that PR, they don't do that anymore. They now take that money and give it to the restaurant. So if you leave, say, a tip and you decide to pay ahead and you left a tip, that money goes to the restaurant. And then that's the problem. So this is where the problem now. Now it's on the restaurant side. So not too long ago, I went to this little restaurant, and it's a restaurant that I go to weekly, so a lot of the workers already know me, because every Friday I go there and I order the same meal because, it's really good. And one of the workers came up to me and goes, you always leave a tip, but you do realize we don't see any of these tips. You make the payment ahead of time, you leave the tip ahead of time, you come to pick up your food, and we always see that you left a tip. But none of us that are working here ever see any of these tips. All we get is our minimum wage pay. And where these tips go, we don't know. And she goes, you know what? It's better you just don't leave a tip anymore because we're not seeing it. So then that got me thinking, is it just this store? Is it just mismanaged? So this restaurant has a couple of other stores. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try one of the other stores. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to ask him. And he goes, do you guys ever keep the tip? So I placed another order at one of the other branches, and I went there and I asked the worker, and they're like, no, we don't get tips. We just get our regular paycheck at the end of the week, every 2 weeks. And then I decided to try a third one. Same thing. So it sounds like this company is not giving their workers the tips. So this has me thinking that there are probably other restaurants that are abusing the tip system. They're keeping the tips and not giving it to the workers. So we, as the customers, have no clue this is going on. We're thinking, hey, they gave us great service. We're going to give them a nice tip, and it's not going to them. So there's an abuse here. And this isn't on the people who created the app end, because they give that money to the restaurant. Now the problem is on the restaurant side. So my wish is that the AMP Foundation or Flexa Network could come up with a system to verify that this money actually went to, say, the workers, that it actually made it as tips, so that there's a track record of it. And even if they don't verify whether the money actually made it to it, if there's a track record for it, and say the employees decide to one day, hey, this company is stealing our money, because there are many places where companies are not supposed to do that. Now that money can be traced, how much of this money was actually meant to be tips, and then they can audit that company and say, hey, you never paid out any of these tips. Or say you made $100. I'm just going to use simple numbers. You made $100 and you only paid out $1 tip. What happened to the other 99? So there's ways to track the money. That did it actually go to the employers? So it'll make the retail end part more compliant with what the customer wants. So anyway, let's see what happens, and hopefully this is something that Flexa Network, AMP Foundation can't provide, because if this is going to go mainstream and people aren't sure that the money is being used for what it is meant to be used, it may not become mainstream. So clients want to make sure that their money is safe, that their money is not being abused, and that that people are not being robbed. So anyway, guys, remember, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. Always do your own due diligence. Until next time, peace out, safe investing.